Travis, welcome to the show. I am super excited to have you here. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell people what you've done, who you are?
Yeah, my name is Travis Gibb. I'm a comic creator. I'm best known for my two books, Broke Down in Four Dead Bodies and Voodoo Nations. Both of them were both funded on Kickstarter and been used throughout. You know, a lot of people love those books. You know, we're on issue 3 of Broke Down, issue 1 of Voodoo Nations. So that's what I'm most known for, but I've also done The Advocator, The Pit, a whole bunch of other stuff. Even did Negative Burns for Image if you're a classic comic creator.
Yeah, cool. That's a great book.
Yeah.
So right now you've got I've got so many questions about this.
Sure. Yeah, go nuts.
You have a Kickstarter going that is Cthulhu Invades Oz. Am I saying that properly?
Correct. Yeah, Cthulhu Invades Oz. That is the proper pronunciation of Cthulhu.
You know, I always thought it was Cthulhu, and then I was on another show and somebody corrected me, and they had this really funky way of saying it. And I'm like, man, I'm second guessing myself every time now.
Lovecraft is dead, so I mean, we're right. Just as more people say Cthulhu, you're fine.
We win. Yes, we win. Lovecraft.
It's public domain, anyways. We publicly own it and have changed it to Cthulhu, even if we're wrong.
There we go. I will go with that. So, Cthulhu Invades Oz. Tell us about this project that is so amazing.
Yeah. So what it is I was doing my own comic thing, and I met all these wonderful curators around the way. And I was like, you know what? I love to get us all together and work on something. It's really hard when you're a writer. Most of the time you meet other writers. You know, artists tend to meet other artists. So I grabbed the best writers I knew and asked them, hey, I have this idea, and it was Cthulhu Invades Oz. Basically what it is I pit, I have Dorothy sell out Oz to save Kansas. And I wanted to do an anthology story, but not like the typical anthology story. What I want to do is give every creator their own character, so they each get their own character. But I wanted to tell one narrative. So we had a beginning and an end.
Oh,
and everything else is like basically moments in time during this invasion. You know, so the invasion happens for a length of time, and during that, you're kind of getting a snapshot of where people are. So it's really interesting seeing some of these characters. Like when you meet Scarecrow is murdering somebody. You never would have thought that Scarecrow would be there, but what drove him to that? And kind of telling these little snippets of this war.
So instead of being a bunch of short stories in a traditional sense, this is one narrative that you're getting from all these different little angles and perspectives. I love that. That's super cool.
Yeah. We even did to the point of when I started putting it all together, things have an arc too, right? So we have like the beginning when, you know, Cthulhu first gets here, what it's like, and then when the war starts, when Emerald City's under attack, what that looks like. But it doesn't just affect our Oz characters, it also affects the mythos of Cthulhu, because he came with all his minions too. And Cthulhu gets a little silly, right? The thing about Oz is everybody's a little silly. So as Cthulhu, he starts big, dark, and evil, like you read him in Lovecraft, and then he gets a little silly as the Oz magic affects him. So we went both ways. It affected both,
cool.
and it allowed all the creators to create the stories that they wanted to. Just it had to be in a certain time, you know?
So Dorothy brings Cthulhu to Oz because Cthulhu was coming to Kansas?
Yeah, I'll spoil that story a little bit. So basically, the minions in Kansas, the minions of Cthulhu interact with Dorothy. And Dorothy, being semi-naive, treats them like they're creatures from Oz. So she befriends them and talks nice to them and tells them everything about her life and about Oz and about all these secrets. And of course, all these evil minions report that back to their minions, and Cthulhu eventually finds out, and he sends troops to basically say, hey, I'm going to kill Auntie M and everyone if you don't tell us how to get to Oz. And that's how they get to Oz, and then the story and chaos goes on from there.
Oh, see, what a great setup. So, all right, so this is happening. How many different creators are involved in this?
So we have 52 creators.
Wow.
52 creators. It's 17 stories. Actually, did I lose you? No. Still there, right? Okay. Sorry. I clicked off you for a second. So it's 52 creators with 16 stories. We actually just added a 17th story. John Crother, I'm not sure if you know that name. He does a lot of wrestling comics. He's got Gangrel. He does like wrestling biopics.
Okay,
Very, very
cool.
popular if you know about what he does. And Don Yen, who was a Ringo nominee, which is really, really cool. So those two got together for Pablo de Gorilla, did a small little lying frog, and we added that story as a late campaign. So we're adding stories as we go too.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So we might as well talk about the Kickstarter for a second.
Yeah.
Itself, we're at this point, at the point where we're recording this, we are 8 days out. Your goal is 20,000. You're at almost 16,000. So you've got time to make this happen. And I fully believe it's going to happen. This project is way too cool to not happen. 407 backers at this point, 8 days to go. You got this, but what we really want to do is get to some of those stretch goals
Yeah.
and keep this train moving. So you have a bunch of obviously tiers to go with. Why don't you highlight a couple of tiers?
Yeah. So basically, there's two major tiers. So there's the soft cover and the hard cover. We wanted to make sure it was affordable for everybody. Obviously we have the digital as well, but we have a soft cover that's exclusive to Kickstarter. So if you get that, it's die cut. That means when you touch it, it's UV coated. So not die cut, it's UV coated. So that means when you touch it, you'll be able to see a raised Cthulhu and feel the logo and maybe the Yellow Brick Road. So that's going to be really cool. So
That's super cool.
and that's the basics, only $29. And then we have the hardcover, and the hardcover is really, really cool. So that starts at $59, and what it is, actually it starts at $49. I'm giving it away practically. What's
Wow.
going on? It's a hardcover, and what's cool about it is it's painted on pages from The Wizard of Oz. So the guy bought
cool.
a copy, ripped it apart, and painted the cover onto that. So when you look at it close up, you can see some of the Wizard of Oz writing in there. You can see some of the pictures from it. So that's really, really cool. Our favorite pledge level that people are really, really digging right now. Well, two of them, three of them really. Sorry, there's three more I got to tell you about. First one, it's $47, and we call it the Bloody Brick Road Mystery Bag. And what it is I get you the book, the softcover book, all signed by at least 5 of the creators, as well as a mystery bag which has 3 comics in it from some of the various creators in the anthologies. And like I said, I grabbed some of the very best. I don't know if we mentioned it earlier.
No, we're going to go through those a little bit.
Okay, all right.
No, you can do it right now if you want. I mean, you were starting to lead into it. Go for it.
Well, yeah, I won't want to tell you. So they're from Mad Cave, they're from Scout, they're from Source Point, they're from Action Labs. These are the up-and-coming publishers in the indie scene. So these are the ones who are in Diamond doing some really cool stuff. And I got some of the best writers from that, which is really, really cool. So you're going to get some of those basically first issues signed and thrown into a poly bag. So basically you're getting 4 signed comic books in there, which is really, really cool for $47.
Right.
Which is, I think, a steal. We also have a Christmas bundle. So if you're buying this for a gift, you can pick your book, and we're going to send your family member a Christmas card. It's a Cthulhu-based Christmas card. It's based off the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So it's got Cthulhu Cthulhu riding on a sled down the Yellow Brick Road with a Toto on the top, doing the little antler thing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And the last one we've got a collector's box. So the collector's box, it comes with, depending on the version you get, it can come with all 3 covers. So a cover we haven't talked about yet is there's a retail cover. So the only way to get that on the campaign is getting one of these boxes. You'll be able to get that retail cover as well. And it comes with a couple of metal bookmarks. It comes with some poppy seeds, if we can legally send them to you. Certain states.
You got to find out, sure.
Right. A couple of really cool prints. One of that wonderful cover that we talked about, the hardcover, and one of that we used for the Kickstarter page. A pin, a keychain, and a holographic sticker. So lots of goodies in that collector's box.
Yeah, good swag. That sounds really cool. And just looking through the Kickstarter here, looking at the different artists, looking at what's going on here. I mean, it's very eclectic, and everything is drawing my attention. Do you know what I mean? It's not it's not like you go, oh, this one looks cool, and yeah, I'd probably skip over this one. Like every single one, I'm like, yeah, I'd read this. Yep, I'd read this. Yep, what's going on here with this gorilla? Yep, what's it? Like everything is freaking cool here. So this is really an exceptional idea. Now, have you played with this kind of thing before using like an anthology? Have you ever done something like that before?
So I did a anthology called The Advocator. So The Advocator was me, Chuck, and Rob Anderson. And what we did, Chuck Pino, we did what we used to do is we'd grab people's comic book and we'd put 5 pages in it, 6 5-page stories into one anthology, and we'd kind of get it out, but they'd be exclusive stories to that, and kind of use it as, getting more content out there. Because the negative of indie comics, especially Kickstarter, is it takes 6 months to a year per issue.
Right.
Just because we have indie guys who have other jobs and everything. So it takes a while. So this was to help bridge the gap in between. So we started there, but no, I've never done anything on this caliber, and it's scary.
Yeah.
Raising $20,000 is scary, scary stuff. And, I'm feeling like I'm going to let these guys down. It's a panic. I've lost sleep. And $20,000, just so you know, is really me just breaking even. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but I have to pay all the writers and artists. I got to pay all of them. They all have a page rate. I have to fulfill all the Kickstarter, and print. When you're printing hardcovers in these deluxe, die cut stuff, it gets really expensive really fast.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at where you're at. I'm very confident that this is going to happen. I know how Kickstarter works. Is there any risk here?
What do you mean by risk?
I mean, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, we are.
I don't mean for you. There's risk, obviously, for you. I mean, for the person that's jumping in on this, there's no risk. This is a done deal.
Mathematically, we've got the days based on we're a shorter campaign. This hasn't been 30 days. It was a 27-day campaign, so it's a little less than 30. At the last 48 hours, we're going to get a big influx of people to do this, and we're raising about $300 or $400 a day. So mathematically, we should be good with the influx at the end. But no, it shouldn't be a risk. And what's good about it, the other thing that's not a risk, Rob, compared to other Kickstarters, at the bottom of the Kickstarter, we show you all the pages. It's done.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that you normally have to worry about, is whether or not this book will ever get made. Well, this book is done. All we're doing is final touches right now. Hey, this prose piece, or moving stories around, making sure it's edited, making sure that everything we can use, like public domain, we don't want to be sued, right? So you can't use like the wooden slippers. So we're just having multiple people look at it, make sure it's good. But the book is done. So yeah, there's really no risk, and a great reward. I mean, if you look at any other book that's on right now, that's a trade paperback on Kickstarter, it's charging you $35. And I'm not saying that to downplay anybody. I'm charging you $29.
Right.
For higher level content and creators, I think. So I mean, it's a bargain.
You've got an amazing lineup here. I really like on your Kickstarter, to get into the nerdy Kickstarter part of it, your total projected cost, your breakdown there. It's very easy to understand exactly what's going on here, what the production plan is. I mean, this is really well done. It shows that you know what you're doing, which, as somebody investing in a Kickstarter, that's consoling to see that.
Yeah, I have been known for the fastest return, on Kickstarters, because of my own policy, where I don't go to Kickstarter till the book's done, or as close to done as possible. So
right.
This one, we have a February delivery time, and that's not because it won't be done before then. In fact, I'm hoping to get it to be before Christmas, to be honest. But I'm scared because I've never done a trade before. So I'm gonna take an extra effort. I'm gonna get a proof, which I normally don't do. Make sure I look through the proof before I send the proof. I just don't want any surprises, because it's really expensive to fix.
Right.
But yeah,
you want to do it right the first time, so it's worth that little bit of extra gap there.
Right, exactly. But yeah, we've got all the guys that are up and coming. Richard Rivera is doing Stabby Bunny. Dave Burns, a co-publisher of Scout, just finished up a Kickstarter for $20,000. Russell Noltes is a known Kickstarter veteran. Greg Elises. John Hendricks does the recount that comes out next week for Scout Comics. Kirk Belcher did Rotten Tail, that had a movie. I mean, there's some big names in here doing some cool stuff.
What about stretch goals?
Stretch goals.
Yeah.
So,
because I'm confident we're going over this 20. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to start by adding quality to the book. Page quality. We're going to add to that. We also want to get a bookmark to everyone. I feel that trade should come with bookmarks, right? They should. We just didn't have it in the budget to put it for those higher levels, so we want to get a bookmark. That's one of our first things, and not a cheap bookmark, like a metal bookmark that's really nice that
Yeah.
fits the tiers of this. If we make enough, I'd love to make the whole thing hardcover, make everything hardcover. I'd love
Wow.
to get those other ones hardcover. But we got to get there first. We're progressing really, really well. So I think we will. I mean, just today we're almost at 16. We'll probably be at 16 by the end of today. So we're progressing. So if we can keep that package up, those last couple of days will be stretch goal territory.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so we'll share your social media in the show notes, but why don't you give it right now? Where can people reach you? I know on the Kickstarter they have to just look up. It's just under Cthulhu Invades Oz, right?
Yeah, it's Cthulhu Invades Oz. But if you go to CthulhuInvades.com, it'll redirect you to that. And we have milestone rewards. One of the things that I forgot to mention is if you're a digital buyer, it's really great. Like right now, you're already getting 12 digital comics just by backing. So $1 will get you 12 digital comics.
Wow.
And then every 25 backers, because we just hit 400, every 25 backers will give you another digital comic. So we're going to be giving you tons and tons of digital comics. So you're going to get tons for $1. So even giving $1 is going to help you.
Yeah, but do more than that. Do more than
that.
that. I said do more than that, though. Let's make this thing happen.
Please give me more than $1. This was a lot of work. But if you could, even $1 will get you to where you need to go. But $1 helps.
It does help.
There is many things. I backed. What is it? I'm at 347 backed projects. So I'm a heavy backer. And most of them I back physical. But now and then there's something that I don't particularly dig. Like I don't dig silly. Like a friend of mine, Caleb, who's in this thing, is doing great, by the way. $8,000 on his campaign. It's a unicorns versus vampires. Not my thing. That's not my thing at all. I'm not a My Little Pony guy. But you know what? Giving him the digital copy. I bought the digital copy. That shares to all of my people, all the things I backed. Anybody who follows me on Kickstarter gets a message. So even though it's not my thing, I want everyone to know about it.
Sure.
Because I do support Caleb, and he's a great talent.
I think what you just said there, for people that are listening to this from the other side of it, the business side of it, like that are trying to do a Kickstarter, that was a great tip right there. Something that is really important, because they always talk about how it's important to support other creators on here. What you just said is exactly why it's so important.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in other words, spread the word for this.
Well, yes. And the other thing to note for those people who are creators who are listening to this, there is certain people who will not back you if you have not backed a significant amount of other projects.
Oh, interesting.
Because this is a system. Kickstarter is a community. There's a huge community at Kickstarter. There's Kickstarter backers who will never go into a comic store ever. They have no interest. They only back stuff on Kickstarter, and they want to know that you've invested in the community, not just taken from the community. So they won't back you if you're just a taker.
Wow. That's a good tip right there. So, okay. Social media, I blocked you on that one. Where can they find you?
So you can find me on Travis Gibb at Facebook. The other place that you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, it's Jester Lou, JesterLou.
Excellent. Like I said, we'll put that in the show notes as well. So let's just recap here. Cthulhu Invades Oz. You want to get on it. You got to act quick. Even $1 is going to help, but maybe come in at the $10 or higher level. You get better and better rewards. It gets more and more cool, but you still get great stuff at the dollar level. Right. You want to spread the word, because what you were just saying, how you spread the word that way, the more people can support you by sharing your tweets, sharing your Facebook posts, letting people know about this. You don't know who's out there that's going to see this, which is exactly what happened with me. I'm friends with Russell. This came across mine because Russell had shared it, and I went, what a great project. I totally have to have Travis on. That works so well. So spread the word. Let people know about this. And since you have a great little Christmas bundle, it makes a great gift.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. You know, just getting the word out there helps, especially this. I mean, unlike other Kickstarters where you have to explain what it is, Cthulhu Invades Oz is everything you need to know.
That's it. I didn't even need to see the awesome artwork. When I heard the name, I went, "That's it." So yeah,
Right.
this is a perfect project. It's really great. Travis, thank you for being on, and good luck with this. I know you're going to exceed your goal.
Thank you. To you, to God's ears. You know, I just need it to happen. I'm ready.
All right. All right. And we'll come back for the Cthulhu Invades whatever's next after this one's such a huge hit.
Yeah, it is announced. It was announced. I can tell you. It
Oh,
was
wait,
announced.
there is. I was making that up.
No, no, no. We said that if we got to half our goal in the first week, that we would announce what the second one is. So the sequel to this is Cthulhu Invades Wonderland.
Fantastic. Oh, man. How much fun is that going to be?
Here's something to point out too for those who are listening. This book will be in continuity for Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. So things that happen in this book will affect Wonderland, like we talked about earlier. Cthulhu's a little silly now that he's been invested with magic from stuff. How much sillier or different will he be when he gets Wonderland magic in it?
Wow. Wow. That sounds so cool. All right, Travis. Good luck. Thank you. We're going to charge ahead. We're going to make this happen, and I'll have you back on when we kickstart that Cthulhu Invades Wonderland.
Sounds good.